Eric, tell me about Hexagon Agility.
So Hexagon Agility is a business whose DNA goes back into the 60s. NASA, we built tanks, composite pressure vessels for storing gaseous various forms, helium, nitrogen, methane molecules. And over time, we've evolved into a business that's been multinational. We take those composite pressure vessels, type 4 pressure vessels, and we package those into fuel systems. It could be for transit bus applications, could be for refuse, garbage collection, could be for over-the-road trucking or final mile delivery. So we package those into fuel systems that we deliver to the OEMs.
Okay.
We have roughly 120,000 heavy-duty vehicles on the road globally.
Okay, gotcha. Is there a particular focus that you've got when it comes to types of fuels? Are you agnostic?
Yeah, so as a group of businesses, the Hexagon Composites, we're agnostic.
Okay.
When we talk to fleets, historically we will look to say, we're looking for the right fuel, for the right application at the right time.
Okay.
And our message behind that means that, some technologies are evolving, and in some applications they're ready. I'll use BEV as an example. You see that going from light duty into heavier duty, right? So cars kind of came first,
Yep.
then into light final mile delivery vehicles, delivering packages to homes. Now it's creeping into mid-mile. That's probably about where it stops. Hydrogen is still one of those evolving technologies. It's got a bit of time to grow yet in heavy-duty space. The bulk of our revenue today is around the methane molecule, which is natural gas.
Right.
And that comes in two forms. So you have organic natural gas, which would come from the ground, or what's very popular in this country, in the United States, in Canada, is renewable natural gas, which you're actually capturing methane from landfills, wastewater treatment. You keep it from escaping into the environment, you process that, and then you consume that in the vehicle. So it's a great green story that we have on that side of it.
Okay, let me take a step back.
Yeah.
Because as you're talking about capturing methane, there's a couple places it comes from.
Yep.
You mentioned wastewater facilities. That's
Yep.
a great use
Yep.
case.
Yep.
But one thing you didn't mention is animal waste.
Yeah. Poop.
Yeah. Yes.
Yes.
Poop.
Yep. It's a top producer. In fact, dairy farms are the richest form of methane production. So you'll see a lot in the United States, dairy farms that are collecting the methane now. They'll take the animal waste and they'll harvest that, they'll put it into a facility, they'll process that. It's very, very rich in methane. And methane, the importance of that is, if that just deteriorates into the atmosphere, methane is 32 times more potent as a greenhouse, as a warming agent than CO2 is. It doesn't last as long in the atmosphere, but it's a real warming agent. So capturing that and not allowing it to get into the atmosphere is really important.
Okay, so cow goes to the bathroom, somebody collects it
Yes.
in some way, shape, or form. That's
Yes.
a crappy job, sorry.
Yes, it
had
is a
to go
crappy
that
job.
route.
Yes, it is.
And then you turn that into fuel for
Yes.
a truck.
Yes, it's a really neat story. I mean, you look at the refuse vehicle, for example. That's collecting waste, right?
Sure.
Not necessarily human waste, but it's collecting waste that deteriorates in the same fashion as wastewater treatment, which is human waste, or dairy waste, which is animal waste. Yeah, you collect that, you burn it in the vehicle, and the burning of the combustion cleans it and eliminates a lot of the hydrocarbons.
Okay, why is every truck on the road not running in this
I
way?
love that question. It's my favorite question. That's a big push here this week. We're here at Act Expo. The adoption rate for natural gas in transit buses is about 30% for compressed natural gas. In refuse, garbage trucks, it's between 50 and 60% right now. So half of the new trucks going on the road are burning renewable natural gas. And the cool thing, in the United States, we just released some numbers 2 days ago. Of the gas that's used for vehicles on highway, 98% of that comes from renewable. It's not organic fossil gas, it's renewable natural gas. So really neat movement. It's we call it the life cycle management of using it, utilizing it, collecting it, and then burning it.
Got it. Okay.
Yep.
Now, what's your career path? How did you end up here as Chief Commercial Officer for Hexagon?
I grew up in my father's business in the Detroit area, which was heavy-duty truck repair, and I remember as a kid working in there, sweeping the floors and changing the toilet paper roll, saying, I'm never going to work in trucking. I don't want to be in trucking. I'm going to get out. My dad said, great, that's why you're going to go to college. And going to college, I worked in the family business, and once I graduated from college, I continued in that business for 8 years afterwards. And one of the vendors that was my father's business said, "We like what you do, and we want you to do it in the territory." And I said, "Well, okay, I'll give it a try." And that was successful, and then I ended up doing it globally, got opportunity to go to Europe, work in Europe in heavy-duty trucking for 5 years over there, and now I'm back in the United States managing a global sales team. And as hard as I tried to get away from trucking, it's been a great, great ride. I think it's one of any young person going into it, it's evolving. We're cleaning up trucking right now. It's so much cleaner than what it used to be. The technology going into it, the EV is still going into it. Renewable natural gases we spoke about. Diesel's getting cleaner. We're seeing biodiesel where you're taking food waste and burning that. So it's a great opportunity.
Sure. Now, if I combine two of your statements, earlier
Yes.
you said we want to find the right fuel for the right job.
Yes.
And just now you gave me maybe 5 or 6 different types of fuels.
Yes.
That's complicated.
It
Right,
is.
when you have to look around and when you're driving a car, you're either going to the Shell, Exxon, or whatever. You're picking up, typical fuel,
Yeah.
or you're driving an EV. There's a messy middle that we're in here.
Yeah.
If I were to ask you for a prediction, 10 years from now,
Yeah.
is there a winner? Are there 3 winners?
Yeah.
Is it 10 winners?
It's a very common question that we get. In fact, in my presentation here this week, it's one of the 5 years ago, the question we would get from the fleets was, what should we go with? Should we go with BEV, hydrogen, natural gas? What's that silver bullet, right?
Right.
And our answer is there is no silver bullet. There's multiple different applications, and we stick with what I said earlier: right solution for the right application at the right time. It's easier to solve for your smaller vehicles, right, where they burn less energy.
Sure.
And you can solve for those easier. When you get into the high energy consumers, I'm moving heavyweight, 80,000 pounds, and I've got to move it from Denver to Chicago, and I may get stuck in traffic. Those are really challenging. For the foreseeable future, we look at clean diesel options, and we look at renewable natural gas as the solution. Heavy duty, long haul. In the middle part, where you get into medium duty, not the extreme heavy payloads of long haul trucking, we do see EV working on the low end.
Okay.
Hydrogen still has a long way to go, but we do see that there's a path there if clean hydrogen can become more affordable and it scales.
Right.
But natural gas is solving for that as well. So today, it's you see a lot of EV applications. You see the CNG, renewable natural gas, and then in the future we'll see hydrogen where it fits in. Probably light heavy duty, maybe heavy medium duty.
Okay. So if I own a fleet, I talk to you. Let's say I've got 10 trucks in my fleet.
Yep.
How hard is it to convert that fleet of diesel trucks to a CNG, an LNG, something like
Pretty
that?
easy, actually. There's a lot of great vendors here at this show, Act Expo, that work with you, from fuel system providers to infrastructure provider. What that would mean is, if you're going with a BEV solution, you have to have charging capability at your location, right?
Of course.
There's a lot of suppliers that can work with you on. When it comes to natural gas, there's a multitude of suppliers that can say, okay, how are you going to fill your trucks?
Right.
It's a different truck. It's not diesel fuel. The OEMs, what I would really look for is looking for a technology that is supported by your OEMs of today. The Freightliners, the Kenworths, the Peterbilts, if it's supported by the big OEMs, then you can have a level of safety to know warranty, service is going to be available, it's factory first fit, I'm dealing with my local dealer, versus startup technology. And that doesn't mean startups can't work, but you have to think about that, saying, okay, am I willing to risk that I'm going to buy a new technology for a company that may not have service locations all over the country,
right,
and I send my trucks all over? So it really is, individual. It's very individual, depending on what your fleet's needs are, what the solution is you're looking for, and I would say take small steps. Okay. There's no point in trying to hit a grand slam every time you go to bat.
That makes sense.
Just get some singles.
Okay.
Get on base. Get on base.
Okay, gotcha. So one of the questions I ask every guest is, if you were talking to a younger version of yourself, or even a newer recent grad, and they said, I'm thinking about logistics.
Yep.
What's the piece of advice you give them?
Yeah, it's really a great opportunity to get into the logistics field. Number one, you have a lot of onshoring taking place. Logistics is changing, and we need new minds. We need new people thinking about It's not as much about everything coming from China now. Yes, stuff's still going to come from China and low-cost countries and Mexico, but there's a lot of onshoring that's taking place, and it's disrupting the logistics patterns. So how do we optimize that? How do you leverage AI to optimize logistics routes? Is there a way to cost save? So it's an exciting time when you look at the cost that's spent on moving a product from a port to a distribution center, to a store, to a home, or to a home directly from a distribution center. There's a lot of moving pieces. All of that needs to be decarbonized. Logistics specialists today are looking at that too, saying, okay, not only do I have to be efficient in my job, but I also got to think of how can I decarbonize it? So it's it's not just about money. It's about how can I do it efficiently to lower greenhouse gas emissions. It's a lot more. 15 years ago, it was all about cost.
Right.
How can I get a cheaper price? How can I improve my logistics? Now it's multifaceted.
Right. It used to be this there. You go,
Yes.
okay, you can do fast, good, and cheap. Or fast,
Exactly.
good, cheap. You can pick two.
And
now it's fast, good, cheap, and green.
100%.
Pick all four.
The logistics specialist of the future isn't going to say, okay, I need to know these routes. They're going to say, okay, I need to know these routes, but also, Mr. Shipper, how come you're not offering this in renewable natural gas? You're offering only in diesel or BEV. How come you're not offering that? And challenge them. So it's an exciting time.
Awesome.
It's an exciting time. When you look at the industry today and where it is, we're looking for people to come into the industry and say, okay, how can we have step function change in what we do? I would say, when you look at heavy duty trucking, and this is what our specialty is, right? We focus on what we call long haul heavy duty, not necessarily medium duty. And the message that we're trying to get out to the marketplace is very important. And the questions I would always ask, young people ask especially, is you look at the really cutting edge companies, the Amazons, the Teslas, the SpaceX, the Blue Origins, and then you compare them to some of the legacy companies, the UPSs that have been around for 100 years, and there's a lot of parallels. They have very bright people, but they're also looking at saying, okay, how do we continue to stay alive? How do we continue to evolve? And what is the next greatest opportunity?